I am recording.
We just rolled 8 o'clock.
You did. Should we do the pledge of allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah.
Okay, call the meeting to order. We have Howard Hawes, Kyle Stecker, and Amber Garmin is on remote Teams meeting, is that correct?
Yep.
Teams? So we do have a quorum. Okay, first off, I believe, help me out if I make an error.
Public discussion.
Barry, you have anything you wanna share with us this morning? No public discussion?
No insights to the world.
Okay, discussion decision approval of agenda and minutes, agenda for today, minutes from August 4th.
So moved.
I second.
Thank you. Motion by
Stecker.
Kyle, second by Amber. Any discussion? Everybody have a chance to look at it? Okay, hearing
Yes.
none, we'll have a roll call vote.
Garmin,
Yes.
Stecker,
Yes.
Haas.
Yes. Okay, thank you. I don't see the county engineer and secondary road foreman, so, and I don't see Kossuth Regional sitting here. How about discussion decision to approve handwritten claim?
I see it and I don't have any issues with it, but I am curious why we're doing a handwritten for postage. It looked like the invoice was from way back, so I just don't know if there's a reason that didn't run through our normal claims, or I don't know if you knew anything there, Jim.
I don't. Oh, it's for property tax statements.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know if that's why they have to load more on the machine.
Yeah, but it's got an estimate from the end of middle of May.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
Okay, I guess whatever. Motion to approve.
It's from the treasurer's office, so,
Yeah, I saw the packet.
okay.
Okay. Any other, you live with it, or anybody wanna make a motion to approve the handwritten claim?
I did.
You did, thank you. Was there a second? I'll second. Can I do that?
Okay, yes.
Yep, sure can.
Any further discussion? Roll call, I guess?
Garmin,
Yes.
Stecker,
Yes.
Haas.
Yes. Okay, it's approved. See Doug's here and
Good morning. We got Amber on team.
Amber's on team, so we have a quorum. You guys have anything you wanna pound on, tell us about, highlight?
Finally got a little moisture, we got gravels run across. Still, there gotta be a little more work if we get a little more moisture, but I'm sure an improvement anyway. And just construction project starting.
Anything else? I have no questions. Doug?
No, I think that, we should have been over all of the roads once. And yesterday, guys were still doing some maintaining on some of their
They still got.
areas where there were washboards and hauling some gravel out to everywhere that they needed, so, I think that we're trying to get the gravel roads back into shape.
It's the dry stretch.
That we had a dry stretch is right. It's welcome rain.
Yeah, for more than one reason.
Yeah.
Alright, thank you very much.
You bet.
Thanks for coming in. Amber, did you have any questions for him? I'm sorry.
No, I don't, that's
Okay.
alright.
Alright, thank you.
I'm guessing Carrie, she's probably not coming in.
They might not be, they didn't say they weren't, but their, information is in your
Yeah, I
packets.
looked at it.
Yeah, I looked at it.
Okay. Discussion decision approve resolution authorizing and approving a certain loan agreement providing for the issuance of general obligation urban renewal bonds. Series 2026A and providing for the levy of taxes to pay the same. Do we have to call somebody for
Yeah,
that?
do we have to have them on phone or anything?
If you have questions, then yes, if no questions, that's completely up to you.
The only, I think there was only one thing I kind of had a question on it, I wanna say it was in this first one, let me pull it up.
And there will be another action, sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you,
Go
but,
ahead.
so according to these documents and other documents that we've been looking at, the first payment is going to be due June of 2027, which is this coming June. The only way to pay that first payment is going to be with an internal loan that we can pay back with taxes that come in November, because the taxes for this year are gonna be used to pay our internal loan we currently have. So, Dorsey and Whitney is working on, that paperwork as well.
Does our own internal loan have to be paid with those taxes?
I know Rebecca looked at that, and then John Danos was going to called me yesterday, but my office was under construction, so I didn't have access, but, I'm gonna be talking to him today too about some more of that too. Rebecca thought the internal loan would be the best way to do that,
Okay,
but that's something else we could talk about as well.
okay,
So the payment is gonna be around, was it 800,000 something?
I think
I'm
it's,
having a hard time pulling it up on my
I think it's
laptop for some reason today.
$1 million for the first one, isn't it?
I think the last three are over $1 million, but I do think the first one is under,
I thought the first one was under. My only issue with this would be, our rural basic fund balance. That's the only place we can take it out of, and I don't know if I'm so willing to do that.
Yeah, that would
well,
be,
would that be, where's the internal loan out of right now that would be getting paid back supposedly? Cause that money would be in there, that would not be figured
Correct.
as a current balance, so I guess
Correct.
your point, like your thought on the fund balance, like we'd be adding to it a couple months before that with taxes.
correct.
Okay. I think we need to look at some, well, I guess. do
But
we-
it doesn't affect us going forward today because we can't decide anything on that today anyway.
Right, correct. I just wanted to bring that to your attention as well, as they have it set up, the first payment coming out in June. Or, is it June? Anyway, it's this coming spring, but, we won't have any tax dollars unless, like Kyle said, we use what we're scheduled to pay for our internal loan we currently have. So,
So,
oops, sorry.
on the second document that's in our packet, it's the one that says I or LSSGOURLA. The first page, it's got like a letter that was dated August 7th, and under number 1, it says resolution approving the loan agreement and authorizing the issuance of bonds. And then the form of bond and assignment set out in section 5 of the attached resolution should not be completed or executed. And I thought I saw a spot where it said do not sign and whatever, but I didn't know if that was that section they were talking about. It just sounded a little interesting to me when I read
I'm on
it.
the second attachment, but where are you at in there?
The very first page
Okay.
of number 1.
Okay, alright. Okay,
Yep,
The form of bond
the
and
last part of the
assignments.
section says should not be completed or executed. Is that something to do later or?
I think that's in, hold on,
Cause it said section 5 and. It says section 5 is like page, bottom of page 5 and then goes into 6 and it says the bond shall be substantially in the following form and, then in page 7, it has do not sign in the signature spots, but I didn't know if that's just for a later time or what we do there. So I guess that was my only question for them maybe, but I didn't know if you would know if that was part of any of your conversations with them so far.
No, I think that, yeah, I don't know,
Okay,
and
Let's call him. Who are we talking to?
let's see,
Over here, right?
yeah, probably on that one.
oh, that's John or Cheryl,
That
so
line, get out of here.
I think
let me get a number for you.
Tammy on the regular phones, you have to dial 9 to get out?
Yes,
Okay. There's a number on your agenda form, it's got 515-699-3294.
yeah, that's Megan, but you sure can call that number here,
Okay.
it's right there.
Is that who we wanna talk to?
Hopefully,
Yeah, Megan, and I think we were talking to Megan cause Cheryl was out last week. So either one I'm sure can help.
Get speaker and then hang up?
yeah.
Yeah,
I didn't do it.
or you can do it, you can do it, but I'll put the phone down, put it up there. Okay.
9,
Your speaker button,
Now
do you have to hit a line first,
do mine. Okay.
then hit speaker?
There you
9 now or
go.
not?
Nope, you're out, so you're
Oh,
out.
you got 2 9s.
Right, well, that could time.
I think
Okay,
our
now the
phone,
speaker.
I think our phone's lagging.
Okay,
Okay. Oh, it tripped and didn't. Here,
Go ahead. 699-3294.
5, 6,
99
9,
3294.
I think we got lucky. She's not available.
and that's a really bad connection.
Yeah, here, let's just try something else.
Here, I'll give you Cheryl's.
I'm just gonna call him. 6, 9,
Where'd you see this do not sign thing?
It's
page
on,
7.
here's the number for Cheryl. 699-3263.
6, 32.
63. And they might not open till 9 either, so.
Hey Cheryl, this is Kyle Stecker, Howard Haas, Amber Gardman, and Tammy Eden from the Kossuth County Board of Supervisors. How are you today? Good deal. Just had a quick question on our documents. There is one, it's the document labeled I or LSS GOURLA for Kossuth County and then the numbers, and on page 5, the bottom of page 5 into page 7, it's got a section 5 that talks about the the bond shall be substantially in the following form, and it says to do not sign that one. Is that something that we need to do later, or what can you tell us about that section, I guess, I was just confused a little bit with it.
It shows you what the bond is gonna look like, and they're closing the bond along with the registrar paying agent agreement. We'll go to Diana and leave it, you and me. She'll sign the bond and then we put it on.
Okay, so that's just kind of an example for us to see what they'll look like?
Correct.
Okay, perfect,
We
that,
don't do anything with any of that through page 9.
okay,
Section 5 is just an entire, form of
okay, that makes sense.
Do we sign on page 9 or no?
Where it says do not sign, no,
No,
we do
no, no,
not.
no, on page 9,
correct.
Okay.
You don't fill out the.
on the
you don't fill out
assignment,
Page, Tammy just asked about page 9.
the assignment, do we do
The
anything?
assignment, do we do that one?
No,
Okay.
5 through 9 is all part of
Okay,
Gotcha,
good to know,
Section 5, yes, it's the whole thing goes
The-
all the way through.
the whole
page
section.
7, 8.
okay,
Okay.
yep, I see section 6 starts at the top of page 10, so that makes sense,
Yeah.
okay. I guess anything else important that we should know? I was just asking about that, but otherwise, I don't know if anybody else has any questions, Howard or Amber?
Amber, you have anything?
No, I don't.
Okay, is there anything else that you got to highlight for us on this stuff besides those page 5 through 9 that we don't sign, or?
Yes, just that, the issuance, which what we're looking at, the resolution, the loan agreement and the registrar paying agent, those need to come back to us, signed,
yep,
Yep,
mhm,
so that we can pass them on.
yep,
sounds good,
Well, actually, this one is, let me think for a minute here, this one I think, the registrar, that form will come later. Let me look at this real quick. Sorry, I lost my voice, hold on.
you're good,
Yeah, so we sent the loan agreement, the resolution which we're looking at, and the CDC, those will all get signed on behalf of the county, returned to us, and we will send you the registrar paying agent, agreement separately once it's approved.
okay,
It's a new one, so the lawyers are working on the language.
okay. Sounds good,
Okay,
well, I think we'll get to acting on that here next, but appreciate you answering those questions quick for us.
no
Thanks.
problem, reach out if you have any other questions.
Will
thanks
do,
Cheryl.
thank you, have a good one,
Thank you.
bye. Okay,
Alright,
so that, I mean, that makes sense, that's kinda samples for us to see the form, and then, the other stuff will be done later. So,
okay,
I guess that was my only question, I was like, what, why did we not sign that one? Or what's it for, but,
Amber, do you have anything else you wanna,
No, I don't.
okay,
so, we need a motion to. just-
do we have a resolution number?
Yeah, it will be 08/11/26/01.
Okay. Yep, I'll make that motion. To approve.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Amber. Any other discussion? So we have a motion to approve resolution,
08/11/26/01.
thank you. Authorizing and approving certain loan agreement, providing for the issuance of general obligation urban renewal bonds, series 2026A, and providing for the levy of taxes to pay the same. All in favor? Oh,
No,
we're gonna have a roll
yes,
call, excuse
yeah,
me,
that's okay.
I'm sorry.
Garmin,
Yes.
Stecker,
Yes,
Haas,
Yes. Okay, resolution is approved. Can I wait on all this?
yes,
Okay, alright,
we'll need to call
I'll
Doug,
call Doug, I can handle that, I think.
if the phone works for you.
yeah,
Didn't sound like it was working before.
Hi Doug, Howard Haas, can you come back up? Okay, thank you. He's on his way.
Amber, thank you for being here online so we have a quorum. I know you have a busy day.
I do, that's kind of why I decided to do it online, it let me be home packing a little longer today.
But yeah,
It's okay for me to sign all this as,
yep, as vice chair, yep.
Well, you're the acting chairman, so.
Well, yeah.
where's Carter when you need him?
You gotta stamp these here.
Oh, I didn't touch
Thank you.
Carter acknowledged that thing, so I never even-
I've stamped the wrong date on things a couple of times, so I remember it.
It's hard to get those things lined up,
I'll
so
check that closely.
I will.
That should be done.
Hi
Thank you.
Doug, sorry.
We're up to the transportation,
Safety.
safety grant. Stuff.
Yeah, in your, folder, there is a, copy of the resolution, a list of intersections, and a location map of locations that I am including in a, grant for what is called a TSIP, Traffic Safety Improvement Program.
How long
Funds.
has this, how long has this program been eligible? You know?
It's been eligible for a long time. I'm not sure the exact number of years.
Okay, I didn't know if it was new or if
It is not, no. What I have queried from, a tool called the Iowa Crash Analysis Tool is intersections in Kossuth County that, over the years 2016 to 2026, that's all the years that the crash analysis tool has on it. Paved secondary roads, rural crashes, all severity, so whether it's fatal, serious, or minor injury, possible injury, or property damage, and ultimately where a driver ran a stop sign and caused the accident. So there are 11 intersections in Kossuth County that would be eligible using that filter. One of them has already been improved, so I'm not including it in that, and that would be the intersection of B40 and P30. We just had an accident that I'm not aware of, which would be at C12, which is the South County line, and a car southbound on P46. That I believe was in the end of May. But the intersections, I've just numbered them 1 through 11. It doesn't mean that 1 is a higher priority than 11, it just means the order that they appear on the report. P16 and A42 right north of Fenton, where Highway 15 curves, both in the north and the south direction. People have run the stop signs and run into people running east and west on A42. Second intersection is at B30 and P20, which is a little bit west and north of Algona, a little bit east and north of Whittemore. East-west traffic there, runs a stop sign, runs into traffic that's running north and south. B44 and P20, which is right to the east of Whittemore. There was an accident where a driver heading east ran the stop sign, ran into a driver going north. The fourth intersection is B58 and P56, located between Laverne and Algona. There, north and south traffic run the stop sign, colliding with traffic that's going in an east-west direction. The fifth intersection is right to the east of Bancroft on A42. If you know where Mike Smith lives, right at that intersection, a driver running north collides with a driver I think was heading, coming from the east heading west. The sixth intersection is down by Titonka, P66, B14. That's north and south traffic failing to stop and colliding with people using B14 driving east and west. Seventh intersection is P60 and B14. Again, people running the stop sign in north-south direction, colliding with people on B14 heading east-west. The eighth intersection is the intersection of P44 and A42 right south of Bancroft. People driving, running the stop sign in the north-south direction and colliding with people using the A42 that would be heading east and west. The ninth intersection is up in the north part of the county, north of Ledyard. P50, people running north, running the stop sign and colliding with vehicles that are in the east and west bound direction on A16. Intersection 10. This would be on R14 and A42, northeast of Titonka. People on R14 running that stop sign both in the north and south direction, colliding with east and west. And the last intersection down in the south part of the county, west of Laverne, it would be people on P56 running the stop sign in southbound direction, colliding with east and west directed people on C12. We do have accidents that have occurred there. I am including that in the grant, asking for the grant. We estimate that total cost to put up, to install the beacons would be around $3,200 per installation. There's 19 installations, and specifically asking for one additional stop ahead sign, a flashing beacon, red beacon on the stop sign, and a cross traffic does not stop on the stop sign, along with reflective vertical strips on the stop signs and the stop aheads. That's a estimated $3,003.40 per installation. So for the 19 installations, requesting $3,000 apiece, so a total grant of $57,000. And then we would have the almost $4,000 matching, to install with our labor, with posts, sign truck equipment, that sort of thing.
4,000 would be our cost for the whole.
Per installation, so,
4,000 per installation?
or, excuse me, 200 times 19.
Yeah, 38,
Sorry,
yeah,
38.
no, that's not the point, but.
4,000.
So with this, you may not have been done, I'm sorry, but this is all or nothing, or can they give you partial, or?
I think they can do partial, they can reject it all, they can give it all.
Okay.
So there is a resolution in the board's folder, supporting the Kossuth County Secondary Road Traffic Safety Improvement Program application. It talks about that Kossuth County will commit some initial funds as required. We would have to pay for everything, and then we get reimbursed by the Department of Transportation after everything is installed. We would maintain them for 10 years following completion, and the Board of Supervisors authorizes Doug Miller to sign the agreement and administer the project to completion.
Amber, did you get all that, and do you have any questions?
I got all of it and I have no questions.
Doug, is there a long enough history anywhere on these solar, I assume, again, to?
I don't know of any, I mean, it's relatively new, but it's years, whether it's 10 years that they can last. There's a battery in there, if that would need to be replaced, I think it's easily replaced. The biggest thing would be if it's knocked down, there'd be and broke, there would be an initial cost. I think the solar charging unit would have a good life to it, the battery may run out.
Okay, thank you. So I need a motion to approve or authorize Doug to sign resolution 08112602 that endorses the TSIP grant application for traffic safety improvement program funds for a flashing beacon and other safety improvements for stop signs at various locations across the county. I'll make that motion.
Second,
I'll second.
either way.
Garmin, okay. Any other discussion on the resolution? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Garmin,
Yes.
Stecker,
Yes,
Haas,
Yes. Resolution 08112602 is approved.
All right, thank you. And then we need to have Howard sign that. And Tammy, if you could sign that too, please, to attest to it. Thank you.
This is hers.
Yeah, that would be for Tammy there. All right, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Discussion decision approve equipment purchase for secondary roads. I think Doug said last week it was about pickups.
Yes, I requested quotes for 2 3/4 ton pickups and 1 half-ton pickup. I requested them from Chemna Motors as well as West Bend Ford. We did receive quotes from both of them. Both of them happened to quote Fords, obviously West Bend. Chemna was a low on the quote for 2 3/4 ton pickups. I guess first of all, the pickups were requested V8s, the bench seat in the front, the radio with a, hands-free option, nothing extravagant at all. A towing package for all of them. The 3/4 ton pickups coming up, they had the low quote of 81,800 or 40,900 per pickup, and for the half ton, again, it was just a extended cab, 8-foot box, with the same options, and that quote was 46,300. So with that, I would recommend that the board would approve of the purchase of those 3 pickups by the Kossuth County Secondary Road Department, Kossuth County Engineer.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Amber, I was just about to ask if you heard it all again, so, okay,
Yep, I can hear you guys great.
I'll second.
For discussion, I guess, we had some conversation about vehicles at our EMS meeting, and Jaden had shared the state bid catalog for that, and it looks like the price you got for 3/4 ton is a little bit better actually than what was on here, but the half ton pickups, were cheaper on here, so I guess I didn't know if they were using state bids or not using them, or if they were quoted different or what, I guess. I just noticed that.
He did have an extended cab on the half-ton pickup,
Yes.
which would add to it too.
I really don't know.
There's,
We have always, I
There's
guess, the
crew
Secondary
cab.
Road Department have
There's
asked the
nothing
local dealers for a price.
okay, well,
Can I comment on that?
yeah,
So with Ford has government concessions. I think they all do probably, I know Chrysler did when I worked with them.
yeah,
But they have government concessions that bring it pretty close to the state bid. The state bid is a minimum on a bare bones truck, and then you start adding the options you need, then they start adding up to get pretty close.
So possibly what Kyle's looking at here is the bare bones bid.
It starts out as a bare bones, state bid is a bare bones, and then you pay for your options when you add options to a state bid.
and they've got regular cab, super cab, and
Right.
crew cab, the different box lengths and stuff, but, okay.
Any other discussion? We're doing roll call vote, please.
Garmin,
Yes,
Stecker,
Yes,
Haas,
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Nothing to sign there? Nothing to sign there?
No,
Okay, alright, so, thank you. Next up is, improvements in the right of way.
construction of the road right away. We had one request, it's from Kyle Rowling, would like to cross 480th Street with the tile. I believe everything is in the family as far as ownership on the north and ownership on the south. This would be for a 24-inch reinforced concrete pipe. According to our policy, we provide the material for this, as well as $250 of labor. Kyle has brought in all of the required information. We've checked everything out, and I would recommend that the board would go ahead and approve of this request as well.
Okay, motion by Kyle to approve the construction in the right of way,
second,
second by Garmin. Amber? Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please.
Garmin,
yes,
Stecker,
yes,
Haas,
Yes. Okay.
I do have a signature copy. right where your thumb is. Thank you. Alright, thank you. That's all the construction within the road right away.
Okay,
And my computer for some reason lost its network connection when I went back down to the office, but just to bring you up to date on construction, the asphalt projects, they will be, starting, their mainline paving. They've got all the full depth patching completed, some widening, that is completed. They will be milling, an inch of material off of the A42 project and placing 3 inches on that. They will be placing 3 inches on the Colded Place project that is part of the R14 that's completed, and the other projects will receive 3 inches of overlay as well. They're on R14 over one of the culverts. We did discover a void underneath of that. We will be getting full depth patch on that so that we can carry some things. It is not uncommon with some of the culverts to lose some material during high water situations. It creates a vacuum and starts taking out some material. The particular location there, we have, last fall we installed a culvert liner, so it should not vacuum, or it should not take any material out of that any longer, but we will get that repaired. The bridge project, they're getting ready to drive some piling, piling for the west pier. Culvert project north of Lone Rock, that is, the contractor is scheduled for August 24, if there are no problems with any of his projects that they're working on now. We have feedback sign, it's still in Whittemore. That is the last location that we really kind of wanted to study. I don't know if the board would like to, if anyone from the board would like that in a certain area, feel free to give me a phone call. We'll bring it out, otherwise we'll return it back to the LTAP, the transportation program at Iowa State. And I am working on an annual report right now. I don't know if I'll have it completed by Tuesday, but if I got it on the agenda, I will be presenting it to the Board of Supervisors, the annual report of the secondary road expenses for fiscal year 2026.
okay, thank you. Anything else? Nope.
I do not, sorry.
My wife would like it outside our driveway, but that's not county road.
Yeah, I guess I could,
I'll stay on that one.
Okay, enough
I
of
mean,
that.
to be honest with you, working with law enforcement and the Department of Transportation, if they would like to see it, I could certainly talk to the student about it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Doug.
Discussion with the Kossuth County Auditor.
Okay, next week we have a manure management plan for Wayne Gerhart. It's just increasing the number of animals at an existing facility. Then you have your regular things. We do have a department head meeting scheduled Thursday at 9 o'clock. I'm gonna send out an email to department heads to see, I am not gonna be here, I have a previously scheduled appointment that morning to see if they wanna postpone that to a different day, cause I know there's others that won't be here, or if they wanna go ahead and have it, so I'll be sending out an email regarding that. Next week I'll be gone to ISAC, Brittany and I, Wednesday through Friday in Des Moines, and that's all I have.
Okay. Board discussion with committee reports. Amber, did you have anything?
No, I did not have anything at all.
Kyle?
Yeah, had EMS meeting last Tuesday night, we talked, I guess, one thing to highlight, I think Amber would have probably known about it from the meeting before, and I don't remember if it was shared with the whole board or not, but we've talked about, location for housing the emergency response vehicle. And there's been discussions with Burt and Bancroft. We have, Burt's still kind of working to see if there's possibilities or options that way. Bancroft has, some options that seem good and viable, and there's a draft agreement started for some of that stuff, so, it seems like Bancroft will probably be the likely at least starting point. We may use both, we may do whatever, but, we discussed that agreement a little bit, so if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask me or Phil. I think everybody on the board got the email, but we had, another, staff member that recently passed the paramedic exam, so we've got, another paramedic that way, once the actual certification and all that stuff comes. We talked about purchasing vehicles, which I mentioned before. We talked about looking at a couple other options besides the one that Phil had brought in, so I think we'll have more on that coming up, but we had some good discussion. And we also talked about, Phil's plans to retire here early in 2027, and the possibility of getting a replacement for an administrator on board in advance of him leaving. That way there could be some training time and stuff like that, so more to come on that as things develop, but we all thought it would be a good idea to get somebody in advance, especially since right now we are one staff short of being full, so budget wise there shouldn't be big concerns or anything that way, so.
Can I add, since you're talking about EMS?
But
So all of our ARPA dollars have to be spent by December of this year. We only have, now I can't remember off the top of my head if it's 12 or 18,000 left. It's all been allocated, part, like ambulance still has, I can't remember now if it's 25 or 50,000 to use, so I reached out to Phil and he said he definitely has stuff he could add to the ambulance with those funds, so,
Okay.
We will be working on that in the next month to make sure that all those dollars are allocated, or all those dollars are spent.
yep, that's definitely critical to get done before our time expires, so
That's the end of the year.
Yes.
good deal.
Anything else?
I don't think so.
Three of us, plus Tammy, Carter, Kyle and I and Tammy were all at the countywide breakfast last Wednesday.
Yeah.
I didn't have anything else. So,
Tammy, can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Oh, can you hear me?
yeah, go
Yes,
ahead.
yeah, go ahead, sorry.
Okay, sorry, my mic is like flashing, so I think it turns off sometimes. Do you have the spreadsheet that shows our loans, our internal loans and the payments, so that I can look that over?
I do, so the reason I haven't sent them to you yet is a year ago or 2 years ago, I can't remember, the state, I think it was part of 718, commercial and industrial replacement is subtracted off the TIF reconciliation, so I have a question into Carrie and Ted if that's supposed to come off on our internal loan or not. So I will send that to you. The question is, the only thing that I am questioning is where that CNI replacement claim comes off of. So yes, I will send that to you.
Yeah, even if you have the amount that is in there,
Yes.
just so I know.
Yep, absolutely.
I'm not worried about that, I just kinda wanna see where we're at with everything.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay. Anything else?
Nope.
Okay. Well, 11 minutes short of 9 o'clock, take a break until 9 o'clock and then we'll work on drainage. Sounds good, alright,
Perfect, a 10-minute break rather than an hour and a half break.
yeah,
That's pretty good planning.
we have to wait till 9 o'clock, so that's on the agenda at 9.
Yep.
How's everyone doing?
Not too bad.
Too bad, how are you?
Good. Humid one out there.
Say that again?
That humid one out there.
It is.
Can you get rid of any of that moisture? Because I would
That's
be
a
happy.
level of moisture I am not an expert in.
Makes drying hay a little difficult.
Right.
Oh, yeah, I see they had that on the news the other day.
Good.
They bought some downtown streets, they just flooded the streets, so no cars.
Everyone here for 129, I presume? Perfect.
We got a date for starting on the Minnesota side?
They've had pre-con, I was told they were going to start in August, and we're a third of the way through August already, so, as far as, I made a phone call, admittedly, it was after hours last night to try to figure that out, and haven't heard back, so that's on my to-do list to get a nailed down when they're actually planning on starting. But everything's in place for them to.
So the Minnesota side is a go, correct?
Yes, oh yeah, a contract's been awarded to a contractor, it will be.
This meeting is determining whether Iowa is a go.
And really, because this is a repair, this is really more of just informing you that it will go. Is that,
Just enough to get myself in trouble.
I don't know what's. Well, so with the information we know already, the shallow nature of the Iowa side, the reports we've had on it, this is set to address all of that. And essentially take the existing main and drop it between 18 inches and 2 feet.
They got stock more or less, so then we get home and start working
Correct.
halfway.
Is they're bringing 2 foot of additional depth to the border. And then the proposed main on the Iowa side carries that through, just continues on the same grade. And because it's not designed to carry any more water than originally planned, or the original design of the district, it's not an improvement, it's a repair, and the code states the repairs are mandatory. So that's something that, I think this has a lot of support and positivity around getting started.
Sized in the repair.
It is all up to the next conventional, tile size. So anything when they used to make this, they'd make something 22-inch diameter. Nobody makes that anymore. So the code allows you to go up to the next conventional, that'd be a 24. So you do gain some capacity that way. I think the Minnesota side, the outlet pipe was originally, I wanna say it was a 32, well, that went to a 36. So that's a pretty big jump up in capacity. This line gets pretty close to about the 3/8 inch drainage coefficient when all said and done. Not all of it, there are parts here or there, but, and we'll get into a lot more.
You're fine.
Improvement between Minnesota was difficult. There's a number of additional bars to pass to get that done, but the system is split into an east and west now. and that's doing good, and a new line that's all at grade and at proper depth. It's going to be an improvement in everything but name, essentially.
The 3/8 coefficient is the, that's what you're looking for.
Right, essentially, yeah.
I'm curious to
yes.
know what we have now.
I hesitate to say, but considerably less than that. I think.
Zero coefficient?
Yeah, I was gonna say, if it's, it would be, I have a feeling this will be night and day of getting that replaced, so.
What was the deal with the, you could add another tile if you want to one side?
So, there's, Minnesota only has, and I'll say this not in the meeting, cause just in case I don't get it all right. Minnesota has very similar but very different drainage laws to Iowa. They have districts, they have requirements that they have to do, but where it's the most different is in terms of improvement. If a ditch or a district wants to improve, it has to pass an environmental review, and it has,
What are you talking about?
She wants this.
well, it is possible
Usually the last
If-
page.
that additional line is done privately.
Is that's payroll,
The
right?
state cannot
She said,
stop
yeah.
anyone that
Just
is a
literally
benefited
sign your
member.
name anywhere in the.
So essentially, if the Iowa side took up
Yeah.
and did on their own a line next
don't
to
even-
what
She said
Minnesota's
the
putting
same,
in.
that I
You could
heard.
split between everybody on the Iowa side then?
I don't think Minnesota
I
would have
suppose it
a
doesn't
way of
hurt, but.
policing that. Because you're taking it up, you're not expecting any portion, that would be the thing, is that Iowa would have to take it up themselves and not expect any sort of financial input from the district on the Minnesota side.
So what does it cost to get an extra tile to run across side by side?
And that is something I would have to just, I don't have that off the top of my head. We
Can you
could-
use the big tab that they just, of what they just did?
Yes,
Isn't that,
You already got the hole dug, I mean,
if I,
just the cost of the tile.
well, you wouldn't be able to add it in with their actual project because that
You'd
would,
have to dig another hole?
you'd have to have another
Oh,
trench.
that makes a difference.
Just, and I would say that just because from the
Thank you.
standpoint of what
No,
they've
that's
got
usually where he
going now,
signs it.
they've
That's
already
perfect,
got
thank you.
bids and quantities and items
Yeah.
and even something which I would agree as small as just setting another pipe side by side, you would change the size of the hole, you'd change the size of the rock that might be needed. And
That
you
cost.
wouldn't have a clear way to separate any of that, so yeah,
It-
you'd probably wanna be, I don't know, 20, 30, 50 feet away to
We
the
would-
side, but you'd have a separate
October
trench
third
probably.
was correct.
right,
That's
the, on the bid tent, they had the 2,800 feet
We have to
of
work that
36-inch pipe
Oh, that's Saturday, that is a Saturday, yes.
is 121,000. So you'd probably, you'd be looking at likely at least that, I think,
Or-
one,
It's really-
Or you
Not
dig a
Kind of
bigger,
like 14-year-olds.
dig a bigger
Trying to
hole
mark which is here, which is not.
and make it 150
Trying to plan
grand
it.
or.
Well,
I just
and
wondered, you know,
the
if
30%,
Just gonna increase it quite a bit on.
we don't
if
know
you
if
have
that's
fixed
gonna be,
glass,
it's not gonna be
like,
busy.
Like, we don't have it anyways, that's
So
fine.
like Brittany owns
And
her
that's
with little ones, she
Yeah.
doesn't.
a conversation that's been brought up about,
Spends the day with
the
McKenna.
main is in
Yeah,
shallow,
else, there's
that
no
means all the
reason.
laterals
For
are
all of
also
them,
in.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, last
Shallow.
year it wasn't that busy.
It
Um,
never is.
Yeah.
and that's
I'm like, yeah,
sort of
well,
the discussions we'll have.
Now the
of
presidential election might be a different.
Where do we
Because
go,
that
how much
last
of
time,
that
I
apple
mean, it was busy,
When you split it, how many
not
acres
busy
on
enough
each side?
for all of us, but it was busy.
It helps a little bit to pull the other line off capacity wise, but it's not
And
huge
that's not the
because that's
best
not
about
as many
keeping
acres over there.
things written down, so I try to.
Yeah.
I know it does
No, but
help,
I don't
plus
do
they're
that.
going up in size.
And then
a
you
little
ask,
bit,
it's like, I don't know.
But,
I don't know.
yeah, I mean, to move more water, you need a bigger pipe too, so.
The things we learn.
as far as the acre split,
Right?
I know I've seen those acre splits 100 times, but I
Yeah.
don't have
Yeah.
them memorized.
Oh, yeah.
it's,
That's what I miss the most is, I mean,
And I-
it's still there sometimes.
I don't have anything that has the acre splits, I know the percentage splits was,
Yeah, you're like,
Yeah,
84-16. 84% project
I
cost
told her to
Iowa,
turn the kid downstairs, and
16%.
I was like, you didn't do that weekend because she kicked butt.
For what they're-
You guys hated, you hated the whole weekend.
They will not be, no, this,
Because
this
I was
is
taping
exclusively.
and cutting in and she
Monday
rolled.
in support.
We just kept rolling, I was like, alright, well.
Well,
They're already doing
they're
it.
project
Right.
years ago.
Like, where were you like 6 months ago to move in this house, good God.
Yeah, no, I've heard nothing
Could you
but.
just do for the other rooms upstairs?
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
They had a pre-con,
She was sexy, dude.
pre-construction meeting on
She's
their
got,
portion was.
sitting and watching the meeting. She doesn't, you know, like she can't do that, so she's gotta keep doing
Very
stuff, so.
supportive.
Yeah.
They got a really good
Yeah.
deal.
Yeah, it's one,
Gone, still all signs are good.
not a bad question.
That portion will go.
Was
It was
thinking
a sign
about-
post.
Yeah, I'm aware,
Sign
thanks,
state line.
thanks.
We will have to bid
Oh, it's
separately.
Where's
Who's
that?
doing Minnesota?
Okay.
Otherwise.
We do have 9 o'clock and we got one item before we get to that, so if we can get that knocked out, we'll come back.
Okay, it's 9 o'clock, we need to have a discussion decision, appoint engineer for the DD 40 project, which is the tile that runs through Whittemore, east to west, down Kossuth Street.
Last week Carter talked about being comfortable with Bolton and Mink, so I appoint Bolton and Mink for DD 40, or move to appoint Bolton and Mink for DD 40.
Thank you, I'll second that.
I'll second.
You-
Go
you-
ahead,
you know,
Howard.
That's alright, I don't care.
Haas, I got Haas this time.
Okay, alright, any discussion? Amber, Kyle, anybody?
Nope.
Okay, hearing none, we'll have a roll call vote. at this point.
Garmin,
Yes,
Stecker,
Yes.
Haas,
Yes. Okay, Bolton and Mink for the DD 40, appointed engineer for the DD 40 drainage project.
And then I'll make a motion to open the public hearing for DD 129.
I will second that. Any discussion? Roll call vote, please.
Garmin,
yes,
Stecker,
Yes.
Haas.
Yes, public hearing is open.
Alright, we can.
We can
fire
get going.
the Conversation.
All right. Thank you, good morning all, my name is Tyler Conley, professional engineer with Bolton Mink, appointed to review the drainage repair request for Drainage District 129.
Yes.
There we go, okay. So, we're looking at the main tile repair, known issues being shallow for a couple of different portions of that main tile. The portion that we'll be talking about is outlined in orange. I can, as we go, I'll show where the existing is going, how this will change and affect the district. For what we're talking about, it's the green boundary is the historic boundary of 129. I'll show also a map that was used to get the split in the agreement for payment on the Minnesota portion of the project. As we know, this does drain north into Minnesota, into CD 41, County Ditch 41 on their side. There has been a report, hearings, bid letting, and a contract awarded on that portion of the project. There was also a pre-construction meeting held July 10th, with construction anticipated yet here in August. So I made a call after hours yesterday, admittedly, to find out what any increased plan on that was, and haven't heard back, so I apologize on that. But that portion is certainly a go. That portion being from the outlet on the very top of the screen through the state line. So, getting into a bit more of the process, on drainage districts in Iowa, there are two types of project. There are repairs and there are improvements. Repair projects are anything that keeps the original design capacity of the facility when compared to its original design from the early 1900s. Improvements are any time that the capacity of that system is increased. The main difference between those two types of projects is that repairs, the code states that the facility shall be kept in good repair, meaning that it cannot fail or be below its original designed capacity. Now, with age, there's questions, what does that mean to have failed? This facility certainly, with its, some of its shallowness, back pitch, disjointing, has certainly fit the category for a facility in need of repair. Improvements are not mandatory. The request comes from the landowners of the district and can be stopped if a majority of landowners owning 70% of the land object. What we're looking at, based on the project that is set to go in Minnesota, as well as some additional difficulties in the Minnesota system with seeing improvement projects through, this project is right now set to be a repair. That would be a replacement of the main tile from the connection point with the Minnesota portion at the south side of the state line road, and replacing that main tile all the way up to the existing end point of that main, south of the 500th Street there by about a quarter mile. Repairs also, though, allow for this has been set to the east for additional cover. The code allows for replacement and relocation in the case of repairs. It also allows for deepening of facility. So with the Minnesota project, the outlet they were able to get and the grade they were able to hold or plan to hold, there is between 18 and 24 inches of additional depth on top of this tile, which is going to be vital to keep through to the end of the Iowa portion, as there are certainly portions of this tile that if you go out in the field now, you can be standing on top of them. So, repairs also allow for the use of the next conventional tile size that is made. These systems, and we'll look at the capacity calculations of this line, but when they were originally done, there were size of tiles, for instance, 22-inch pipe that was made at the time that is no longer made. You cannot get a pipe that comes with that diameter. So what the code allows is to upsize to the next conventional size. In that example, it would be a 24-inch pipe. So that has been done on the plan for this as well. So before we get into the size analysis and cost estimate associated with the cost estimate, the costs associated with crossing, there's the one crossing on this project, there's the Minnesota crossing as well, but regarding this project, the cost associated with crossing that road is the responsibility of the secondary road department, as the holder of the right-of-way is responsible for the construction costs of crossing that right-of-way. Any questions at this time? Perhaps before we get to the analysis of the sizes or the cost estimate, I'll show this map, as I have heard from at least one landowner questioning and would like to discuss the payment schedule for the Iowa portion of the project. What's displayed here is the calculation that was done between, getting the split of cost between Minnesota and Iowa. For reclassification of benefits, Minnesota has a system that I would describe as much more similar to how the original districts were analyzed and split into benefits. They use what they call viewers to assess that benefit based on their observations. The process in Iowa being required to be fair and equitable and to be overseen by two disinterested landowners, our process has become much more mathematical. It's become much more data-driven, using elevation data as well as soil data. Minnesota was, County Ditch 41 was allowing of the Iowa system to be utilized, the mathematical split of that benefit to be utilized to determine the split of benefits, the 15.91% and the 84.09%. So the split between the states was done via the typical Iowa calculations and those values. Now, how the project splits are done between states are up to those states' requirements.
After
After that split. So they will get the approximately 16% of the project cost, and they'll assess that as they see fit, as will Iowa. And this is just for the Minnesota portion. The Iowa portion that we're here to discuss today, 100% of that will be on the Iowa side. And because of that, there's been raised a question. You can see the proposed setup of the system now, the lateral 162 that the entire system at one time drained to, there had been an extension here. Those are two now distinct systems, an east and a west main system of 129, meaning that this system and this system are operating independent of one another, without benefit to one another. Repair projects do not come with them an automatic requirement for reclassification, meaning that the original schedule for the district, without any changes, would see an Iowa project for this main spread over that entire historic watershed area that had been displayed before. There has been a question, and Tammy, I don't know if an email came in from a landowner regarding this question, but the question that had been raised is if that's a fair and equitable distribution of costs amongst the two sides of the district.
What you're showing though isn't cost to green, the two greens aren't cost differences, that's just a watershed difference, right?
That is cost difference when compared to any projects done in Minnesota.
Sure, but the split of the two greens just shows which way the water's going, right?
Correct.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with the cost
No,
on this screen.
not for this project on this
Right.
screen. Why I display this is that the estimate for this project, were there no changes to the system, would get assessed to both portions of green, even though only the lighter green would be seeing the benefit from this replacement.
The acres on the west side though would be getting benefit from not having.
They do see a discovered benefit by not having the same, there is the conversation to be made about that. With the landowner that I spoke to, as they were on lateral 10, their concern was if they pay for a portion or a disproportionate amount of this main now, they're also then concerned that when the laterals are replaced, as they're also likely shallow and failing, that those project costs will then certainly be split off into those individual laterals. And so the concern was paying a disproportionate amount for a main they don't benefit from, and then paying all of the expense associated with lateral 10 as well, if and when that is ever redone. So just something to think about as we continue the conversation.
When you get down to the end of the main, are the laterals, or the main big enough to handle the laterals?
The main would be sized, and I will show the size. I was just going to the size calculations. I don't care what segment numbers they are. So these represent from the outlet
That'd be
to,
at the ditch.
at the ditch, yep, the outlet at the ditch to, essentially the first split, then from that split to the border, and then from the border all the way up. And that system with the, so the outlet was a 32, it is going to a 36. The, drainage coefficient in inches per day, the amount of water that can be removed from the watershed in a 24-hour period of time for the original design capacities is displayed here. And the end column is the drainage coefficient that is obtainable under the proposed repair plan with the upsized pipes. So, under the system as it's proposed, the drainage coefficient would be just shy of that 1/4 inch per day, with some portions getting closer to that 1/4 inch per day. But when you compare it to what the system had been, even under that repair, there's about a 50% increase in.
With the smallest pipe, you're saying is 12 inches on the far south.
On the very,
And it
very,
greatly increases. Yeah.
correct, then it steps up from there. It is sized based on those original capacities. The laterals, I would never recommend sizing their drainage coefficient for anything more than what this main system at those points is designed to take. Seeing if you took any one of those laterals to the 1/2 inch, it's not going to be connected to an outlet that is equipped for a 1/2 inch. It is equipped for a 1/4. But yes, any one of those laterals could be repaired or replaced to this size, and the main be adequate to handle as if all of them were. Project right now, for the construction portion, is, we have that in the preliminary design as a dual wall black plastic. If there are a desire to see a different material used, we could certainly bid alternates, but what we've been finding is a rather significant cost savings in the dual use of dual wall when compared to the reinforced concrete pipe. It used to be 10-20%, and I'd say now we're seeing a
Closer to 25 and 30.
25 to 30% cost difference between the dual wall and reinforced concrete pipe. The Minnesota portion is planning to be dual wall black plastic.
And that's the difference in the bid, not just the difference in the material.
Correct,
Yeah,
yes.
and depending on, rock needed, it could be even more than that if we don't need all the rock.
Right. The, estimated construction cost for that is, $600,000. With the financing, damages, engineering, and interest in there, there's an estimate of 756 over the 1,512 acres, and average cost, per acre of $500. The code allows for the distribution of project costs for anyone whose assessment is over $500, no fewer than 10 and no more than 20-year payback installations.
Payment schedule.
So it's an annual, that's then calculated over those annual amounts at 5% interest, which I believe is what the county is still at on its warrants. And that's a per acre cost. On something of this magnitude, there's potentially an argument for the 10-year, but most often for major projects, the 20 years been considered. The board sets that most typically when we go to the bid letting, because it's important for the contractors to know what the interest rate they're looking at is and how long it may be before they're actually paid back in cash. So that's, as far as the system works, the district does not have money in it in any sort of account right now. It's unlawful for the districts to carry large balances. So what the district does is it pays for any of its, any services or any construction with what are known as stamped warrants. They look like checks, they're not checks. If you try to cash one, the banks won't do it. But they're worth the face value that's on them and the interest rate that's on them. And then as assessments go out to the district and the district takes in funds, they call back those warrants and pay out the face values plus the accrued interest to the party that holds those warrants. Myself being, or Bolton Mink being one of those entities, contractors as well.
So contractors don't get paid in full for the job done?
They get paid all
If it's
in,
decided to be financed,
So
they get over the payments.
if that's all entirely up to the choice of the person receiving the warrant, typically banks will take them for face value. Like if you got one today, you could walk into a bank, they would give you cash and the face value, they would hold it, keep the interest when it gets called in. So you can sell them, or
I assume that's common over all projects.
it is,
Yes.
it's not specific to this one.
there
but
are
it's-
some counties that buy them back because the county likes the interest
Yeah.
on it. It's all just, it's more on the, one, it's for the landowners to know what their interest rate and for how long. And then the holder of those warrants likes to also know, because there's no penalty for paying it all up front. But this is something that is an option to owners.
Another thing worth noting on this topic is if you are in the path of the tile and would have crop damages, there is a section of the code that allows you to take the warrant you receive from the district and use that as payment to pay your bill per se.
Offset it
Or
on.
assessment, you can,
Not until the end, until you get.
no, you can do that immediately,
Yeah,
it's,
they let me do that the last one.
it's not widely discussed or talked about, but their code is very clear. If you have a warrant from the district where the district owes you money, and you owe the district money in the form of an assessment payment, you can use that as credit and directly offset it. You don't get credit for interest, you don't get credit for any of that, which is the same at the bank. If you walk into there, you just get cash. But you can use it to directly offset your payment that's due. And
$61 an acre, nothing, that one they did in the west was $1,100 an acre, so.
And that's a big difference in,
No, that's per year.
right,
that is 10 years, but yeah, it's.
It's a big difference between a repair and an improvement project. You know, and that's pretty evident here, I'd say, yeah. The repairs can be more economical,
A
but
lot
you,
less capacity.
but you see the difference that you're getting in capacity. Now, as we touched on, Minnesota improvements are much harder to do, unless they're being done privately, and that would be an undertaking all in its own. There can't be, as far as I understand it, for improvements through districts without tripping environmental reviews and a cost-benefit analysis in Minnesota, their drainage district funds can't be utilized. It would all have to be done. They can't stop private developments or drainage improvements, but any financial obligations from their county ditches can't be expected or utilized without tripping those additional requirements, which make it very difficult then to see those done as a district project. Which then is why the repair has been examined here, as it is it's an obtainable thing.
Yeah, the other side of that is, as Tyler laid out and kind of in the beginning, even for the portion in Minnesota, they're only paying 15% of that bill, so. I mean, if you were to do anything, you'd already pay 85% anyway, so, I mean, it's not that it couldn't be done or couldn't be ruled out, it would just be a little bit more expensive, but it's.
So what I'm displaying here is just the, until such time that the Iowa portion is done, you still need to connect and maintain drainage of the system that is there. But this is a plan out of the Minnesota, this is the state line road, this is representing the new pipe and the depth difference that is set to be taken through the road. And then at such time that the Iowa project goes, all we've got is this short section that either gets replaced or relayed, dropped, and then that grade's continued on and carried through. So this depth difference is what would, well, essentially this depth difference is what would be seen the whole way.
Do you know what that is there, is that?
Each one of those marks is a foot.
So, generally 2 feet?
Yep.
Difference?
Yep.
Strong 2 feet.
The contractor's in charge of making all the hookups throughout farm.
Correct.
What
Yep.
happens when, obviously, he'll do his best, something will get flubbed up, surely.
Yep.
Do we fix it ourselves, or is that a call back to the contractor?
That's a call back to the contractor.
That's a call to the county, and then the county works with the engineer and
We
contractor.
can obviously hook them up ourselves if there's an issue.
Yep.
You could, yeah, it just wouldn't be paid for it wouldn't be paid for by the district if it's not communicated, but yeah, typically the best way would be through the county, that way we know that there's something that's missed and can, get it taken care of that way.
Contractors have a warranty period of at least a year. I've seen, I think on Minnesota's,
Minnesota's, they did 3.
three-year warranty on the work. Now the more of a warranty you put on it, you expect that to reflect in prices, but typically, Iowa has had a 1-year warranty period where the contractor can be called back for, failures in their workmanship. On the plastic pipe, we require a televising and an ovality test 30 days at least 30 days after the inspection. So they check how much of the pipe has deformed, and there is a percentage requirement that it can't be outside of, it can't have deformed more than that, or it will need to be replaced. And traditionally, the easiest way as far as missed tile connections is, we call the contractor back, they do them, and they get paid at the rate that they bid out for their connections. Because it's not, it's not something that we expect them to do for nothing, but we expect them to do it for the price that they told us they would have done it had they encountered it the first time. And most often, we don't pay them to mobilize back out, because it's something that should have been found and done the first time. But that is a good point. When these get constructed, the standard operating procedure, and my recommendation on the based on the status and condition of that facility, my recommendation would be that the old one don't be kept to utilize what little capacity it has, just to crush it in place, and have the district take charge of when that fails, as opposed to letting it continue to develop holes.
It's been failing for years.
Right, we just go in and crush it and bury it and make sure everything's deep, and then we're not out there fixing holes every year because we left an old one in place. So, when that's done, when we pick a side, and we went with the east because it's, one, there are less laterals to hook in as the installation is going, which is beneficial, but also it's the larger of the laterals to get hooked in that would keep the most of the district running. All of it's going to be continued to run on the old system, but what the contractors do is they typically start at the downstream end, the north portion in this instance, would install all one way, making all of their connections, and then when they come back and crush the old line, they make all the connections from the other side. Because as you crush and water's flowing through those laterals, you can find them, you bring them across, and drain them into that new line. Then when they get all the way back up to the end, hack everything back up, and you're out.
Where's the 1 mile mark south of the state line?
One section's approximately
Right
here. That's the center, that's the intersection. The center of the section's right here. It's not a
And
full
this-
mile, but
This lateral going this way, the county came in and ran one up to Darren Jensen's right across that 40 there.
okay.
There's a new lateral in there that's county,
What time period was that in?
10 years ago or something, I don't know. The Darren hooked onto it, he asked us if it was ours, and said, no, the county did that.
It will, all of those will get connected.
Well, I know, but I'm just saying, there's a different line there that's not the lateral, the old lateral, they put a new lateral in across the 40.
So as far as expecting to find
Yeah.
the one further south, noted. Any other questions, comments?
Are they gonna put the new one in rock the whole way?
The plan right now, yes, is to rock have it be a rock installed. Looking for the
Is that just on the base of it, or do they put some on the side of it?
So as it is set right now, it's for a full rock envelope. It would be a half, I can never remember if it's 4 or 6 inches beneath it. But there's rock, a finer gravel underneath it, and then there is a minimum and a maximum trench width for that, but then it's rock all the way up to the top of the pipe, as that rock is what distributes the weight around that plastic pipe. We've also included a trench foundation stone. That value is a conservatively high amount of rock. That is 1.5 to 2 inch stone, that in case they don't hit a nice constructible bottom, they're able to put a larger rock down first, then that smaller layer of gravel, then the pipe, then that rock envelope.
Are we able to do a spoon install on this one?
We could consider a spoon install. If we did that, what I would do is I would break out the amount of rock for that envelope around it and have that as a separate bid item.
Bid it both ways, basically?
Well, bid it so that we could be more accepting of the spoon method, but still have the amount, still have in our minds, if we couldn't, the
Yeah.
amount of rock that we need to do.
I think I'd be more inclined to go that route and have it be able to go either direction, because I thought we had pretty good success with 40 and 42 with spoons.
Yeah, yes, we have seen success both ways. I think the bidding it well, not bidding it, it wouldn't be an alternate, it would just be one additional item broken out. And be more allowable for spoon makes, for the best potential cost savings
Yeah.
on the project, so.
Yeah.
That's, and what Kyle's talking about is instead of the rock envelope, constructing the channel in such a manner that the bottom actually cradles the pipe when it goes in. And if the soils allow and it's a nice tight clay material, that can work as well, if not better, than having all the gravel around it, so.
Which way is the Minnesota side doing
I,
Hey, in board meeting, you got something?
I think they are making allowances for spoon. Yes,
Okay, sounds good.
they are making allowances for spoon, but they do also have in that same worst case scenario, they have it outlined for both, for when applicable spoon, else a rock envelope on the details.
I think they're doing spoon when the soils allow.
Right. But like everything, if you hit something that we're.
Poor conditions.
Right, we're in some pretty wet sand on projects that are going on right now. You just couldn't ever dream of spooning that in, so, you still make the accountable rock amounts, but,
Does the contractor make that decision, or who makes that decision?
that's per discussions with, that's engineer call. And honestly, if we broke it out and made an allowance for spoon, and we had the rock quantity that they could use, and the contractor wants to argue that he needs to use rock just cause he's gonna get paid more on it, I guess I'd rather be on the side of the argument of him using more rock than not, and then us be pulling the chain of, hey, ease up on the amount of rock you're using, as opposed to trying to get away with the spoon method when otherwise he shouldn't. So, that, I think it's, to bid it as Kyle's outlined, I think kinda gets the best case scenario.
Cause the other side of that, if you bid it with it all in one line item, your pipe price reflects how much materials of the pipe and the rock and the labor that the contractor expects to do, rather than just labor and the pipe material itself. So if you separated that out on a quantity side of things, you'd see a more accurate cost of the pipe itself with install, rather than the pipe plus rock.
Plus rock, I agree.
Install.
I was way off when that was done, it's like it was done around 1998. Time travels faster.
Well, 30 years.
So a little closer to my birthday.
I got a map. if you want.
When you said it, I doubled it, but I didn't triple it.
You're right. It was a 6-inch tile that ran along the north side of A16.
Thanks for your research there. I provided some nice comedy. And helpful insight.
Yes, yeah, no, that'll be, in essence, everything that is encountered is intended
Yeah.
to or will, once discovered, be connected.
Yeah.
And I can't, they can be difficult to find, I'm not claiming that anybody's gonna be perfect.
If anybody has private tile maps, or if you know specifically where certain things are, you can always point them out to the contractor to say, hey, there's one right here or close, keep your eyes open, that always helps, but
They make themselves known if they're not,
usually
they're
they
not
make
found,
themselves
you know,
known
they-
pretty
they-
quick.
boil up to the top, and then contractor can get out there, fix them,
Yeah,
and
even,
off it goes again.
You'd rather you got it the first time.
Oh, yeah, yes, no, I'm not saying that that's an
contractor
apples
would-
to apples comparison.
the contractor would prefer to get them the first time too.
Right, yeah.
What's the time frame on any of this?
So, I've thought about this, and this is why I wanted to get, maybe a better construction time. I would like to be able to bid this and have a contractor start after they have a connection point to go to, so that I don't have a contractor trying to install pipe to nowhere. Right, just at the end.
They need it.
Right, I'm hopeful to have this bid and start construction hopefully after harvest this year and before too hard to freeze up. Likely give them through, at least probably the summer of next year to get this done. The anticipation is always that there is only, if there is a disturbance or a destruction in crop, it is only ever once. So if they run down crop later in the growing season, they're not there yet in the spring disturbing when anyone's trying to plant. Getting into damages, anything that is physically destroyed or run down is, we as the engineer keep track of the surveyed areas, the crop types, and using, most often, the yield reports, average yield reports, with input from owners at the completion. We compensate for any of those crops actually physically destroyed, we being the district. And that's all in what is unavoidable. If the contractor is negligent, that comes out of their contract amount, the amount paid to them. And we have seen that happen. And then on top of that, in the actual footprint, the areas that are most heavily mixed and compacted, the districts have typically been compensating that as an additional year's crop loss in yield amount. Just because of that soil takes time to come back into its full production. So in some areas that are run down and most heavily impacted, it would be a 2 crop loss compensation in that areas. If we're able to work around, if it's after harvest, then it's just the loss in yield or what's disturbed in the planting again. But we only ever shoot for those 2, never making it 3.
Yeah, and the tighter timeline you give the contractors, the higher your bids are gonna be, so the more flexibility we can give, the better.
Any idea what the timeline on the Minnesota side is? When that would be?
It was bid earlier this summer, I wanna say it's supposed to be done before harvest.
Yeah, I don't know if they had a December first.
I was gonna say, it might be December first in the actual paperwork, that's what it's in my head for some reason, but I think they expected it to be done sooner than that. I would guess it'll be done either in August or September. Yeah, that's a pretty short segment.
And I wish I had more information, and I apologize for not being up on, like I said, I called late yesterday thinking, I should probably know that, and, never heard that, so. Hand up, my apologies on that one, but the timeline is any day now, getting going, so.
Well, I'm for the project, I mean, I've had to call Kyle every year to come repair tile.
Yeah.
Tile, you know, I mean, it's falling apart, it's squashed, it's broken, it's only about this deep.
So, what about the reallocations? Now, you're not gonna call it a reclassification, right, or are you?
Well, and that's, I think it falls under that name, you know.
Yeah, it's reclass.
So,
It would be a reclass of benefits.
so in this instance where it's not just a clean break, the watershed's not a clean break, you're saying there is some benefit to the west side by taking the east side off?
Yes, but it's, I think historically that's an easier thing to say than it is to.
Measure.
What to actually assess based off of. And say you get this portion of the project cost because we're coming off of your burden. The
One thing we did, which you can maybe think about and consider on another project that also involved going into acres in Minnesota, we had a separate schedule for construction and a separate schedule for maintenance after the fact, because the old system used to go up into Minnesota and come back into Iowa and drain Iowa ground at the far end of that lateral. We changed it and brought a line straight across the Minnesota border so that everything in Iowa was served by a pipe in Iowa, and then the people in Minnesota got access in the form of a stub across the road. So they paid for their access, but then we also had, that's where it was broken out between a construction schedule and a maintenance schedule, because the construction schedule was more in line with the old route, the maintenance schedule was in line with the new actual constructed paths. So there could be something potentially in the form of two schedules that way to represent construction versus maintenance.
Right, I don't disagree with that, or at least the thought of that. As far as improvements automatically trip reclassifications, else it's either by petition or when the trustees, the board as the trustees, is convinced that there's an inequity. One of the biggest inequities is someone paying for something they don't benefit from, historically, from a kind of a trial base. In this instance, I do think that there's probably grounds to make the argument that under the new system, there'd be an inequity west to east, east to west. And that does cut both ways too, in that if it's left, and the two systems are left on the same schedules, the west would pay in on east, but east would also pay in on anything ever done on the west.
Repair work.
Right, repair work, or what have you. The biggest inequities you often see on these, and that the code outlines, and that's if you're paying for something you don't benefit from, most often that's in reference to laterals. Essentially having individual schedules, we're not talking about doing the laterals right now, But as far as an argument could be made, I think the two mains probably act very similarly to the split on laterals.
So what you're picturing is the new line, correct?
Correct, yes, it's,
New and older.
the new and old, because this is what's remaining from the old system that serves the west.
Where does the old one join that old system? Where does the old east join the old west now?
It, like this.
Yeah, just draw a line between
Okay,
that
alright.
bend and the
That,
stop
that
line.
goes straight.
Okay, thank you. And the numbers,
Actually, it's,
you're showing per acre spread out, does that anticipate the separation?
I believe that's over, I need to look.
You understand what I'm asking?
I do,
yeah, that's a
yes.
good question.
Don't want anybody to be surprised. Looks like you're gonna take 360 acres off, maybe, if you split it off.
Tammy, do you happen to have the
So on this page, it's.
existing schedule for 129?
Fine, but it shows the old
No,
line right there.
but I can pull it up.
Versus the proposed and then the other system, so, yeah.
Because I think
It's
you're
basically
right.
a straight line between that
I
curve.
think you're right, Howard, I think that those 1,500 acres,
It probably was the whole.
I think it's all,
So again, just based on your shading and looking at the half section mark there, it looked like there'd probably be, you know, just a rough estimate, 360 acres coming off of 1,500, and that's very rough. So somebody could quick do some math.
Oh, 300 out of 1,500.
It's 20%, yeah.
so it's the area served, so starting at the state line, the capacities, it is
Figuring it.
1,058.5 acres shown. That's that value.
If you have subset.
So that's 430, 440.
Right.
I don't know why, that's gonna be.
I
So
know,
that's gonna be a substantial increase on a per, I just want everybody to be aware, you know,
That would
hey,
be a change on that per acre.
hey, you said this much and it'd be significant. But as he said, you're not gonna be paying for, if you do that, you don't pay for repairs in the future on the east either. West, excuse me, yeah, that's correct.
Is that, is what Howard's outlining, does that make sense to people about the cost per acre I've shown is over the whole Iowa portion? What we're considering is that fair to assess the whole main to both systems? Or is it best at this time, even though the cost per acre amount on the east main would go up on those benefited acres, it would remove them from obligations on the west. And there's nothing to say that if that isn't done now, if large projects were done on the west, that it wouldn't potentially be done at that time. The code outlines that it should be fair and equitable for all the benefited landowners. That's what is that fair and equitable, what does that look like?
the schedule doesn't list the acres.
It does, okay.
What was the total was like $750,000,
Yep, 756, I think, divided by the
1058.
1058.5.
Now you're looking at 714, and before the 756 divided by 1,500,
Yes.
you were at 504, so you got half again as much expensive, basically, or more expensive, excuse me. I don't think that's gonna deter anybody, you still want it, but hey, you said.
Right, and I appreciate that you bringing that up, as that's.
Second question to all this, since it's a repair and not an improvement, you don't have to worry about any converted wetlands or anything?
Correct, no, there is no,
That's probably almost as beneficial as not having to deal with the environmentalists in
The-
Minnesota.
right, the repairs, you are allowed to upkeep your system. and not convert wetlands, and not have the project stopped by remonstrance. That's,
All,
Yeah.
all the same bucket.
yeah, no, what is allowed to be. Even with those increases in conventional pipe size.
So the question at hand is, take double the price and treat it as two kind of districts type of thing?
Essentially,
Can you say that again?
It's not double.
No, no.
It's 50%.
More, yeah, okay.
So
50% more
per acre,
Yeah.
per acre.
the conventional, the typical would be a project that is this heavily split should be very strongly considered to see that break made. To see that split, you'd still all be one
Yeah, I see.
district. You'd all still be 129, but you would have your own separate schedules for east and west.
Yes, I feel like doing this project, you divide it amongst everybody, and then you can do your reclassification afterwards, when you split it. Everybody's kinda getting the benefit out of it now.
And that's maybe to Kyle's point about the construction
Yeah.
schedules versus
And
where you go from here.
I mean, I don't know if it'd entirely be worth asking Minnesota, but I know they're putting in a new tile which is primarily going to serve that side, but I would imagine they're probably splitting the cost out on everybody because it is gonna be a benefit to the other side too, to take that water away from that other system.
Guess that's what I feel like is kind of fair right now, I don't know, my opinion, but.
And and not to devil's advocate, because I'm not a part of the district and just bringing these things up. That kind of the same argument could be made if and when anything on the west side gets done, and then you're in for that, even though you don't benefit from it, but they helped on yours,
Well, plus
do
they
you?
can split it after it's been split, I mean, split two sides.
Right, well, and you could split it after we do this project, but then the west people are gonna say, well, we helped pay.
But they're
For
kind of
the-
gaining some benefit out of this. Right
They,
now.
they are,
Yeah.
just devil's advocate on
Yeah,
it, just,
nobody,
Yeah.
I'm pretty confident nobody
That's-
sitting here is gonna, I know the people out there will be there in 20 years and remember this, but nobody here will be here in 20 years and
No, I
remember
won't
it.
be either.
Well, and I think that's where there might be an advantage to a
You're gonna
construction
be
No.
schedule.
Definitely.
And I
I
don't
will
know
be.
exactly
To retire.
how or where or whatever you would do to show the benefit that the west side would be receiving from the east being split. But there has to be a benefit there, in my opinion. I don't know if that's 5% or what that number actually would land on even in my own head. But I think there is a benefit to splitting them from a functional perspective as we're doing now with this project that will be constructed. But I think that's maybe where blending the two scenarios of they currently are together and benefiting from the water going through the same pipe, but then after Minnesota's project and our project in Iowa, they would be separate. So I guess my gut is feeling a two schedule process to make it as fair and equitable, because I mean, yeah, you could play devil's advocate and flip the coin both directions. It's not entirely fair for people on the west to pay their full share of something that their water's never going to go through. But
When they had that meeting in Blue Earth, they talked about doing some repair work to where the old system dumps into the dredge ditch. Is that part of this, or aren't they doing that, or?
that, yes, they are doing,
yeah.
they are reconstructing, it's a very small portion, but they are reconstructing a portion of.
And
So right there, you could say we're paying them.
But are you, will they be paying part of it?
so that's, I think that's another one of those reasons where there probably should be a construction and a maintenance schedule, because the west lateral, if you call it that,
Where is
would
the
be
west
paying for and benefiting from some level of that work.
The
Being
west
done by
main will
Minnesota
now be
right now.
this portion here, and then
And I think there's
Down
some other like lateral
There's then
connections that they
lateral
need to
10
make and stuff
and
like that, so
11
there will be work
that come
on
off of
their
this.
project that will benefit both sides.
But it's all gonna come to the same bill.
that,
It will.
we have,
Well, that's a good point.
So I-
If you-
that
If you're
then
paying for that
is-
repair, they could help pay for
So
it.
right off the bat,
West.
that
the west,
is then.
west is gonna get benefit and we're gonna pay for it. So-
And that's where I think all of
Right.
those factors, I think all of those factors should be taken into consideration in some sort of a split for a construction versus maintenance schedule.
Whatever.
Like I said, I don't have percentages or numbers or anything for that, but I think there should be a split for the work now
Well,
versus
the new system.
Okay, let's do one conversation at a time here.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
We should dramatically help it.
That's what I'm saying, whatever, honestly, we're probably, whatever anyone wants.
Just the comment that, one of the interested parties in the room is staying on both.
Yeah, right.
So to them, it may appear as a 6 of one, half dozen of the other sort of, situation.
that is true.
And there is something to be said about that. And perhaps it stays as it is until such time that major work is done on the laterals. The laterals is a much bigger conversation because that splits everything into a much finer grid of benefit. Any one of these laterals that's redone, not to pick on anyone particularly, but the length and potential size of lateral 5, the expense associated with that, well, the west main certainly isn't going to want to take any part of having the lateral 5, even if it's repaired, and there's no legal trip of reclassification. So there too is a bit of a now or later sort of conversation about all of this, but
Is that the lateral that's only in the one R80?
that's this one, for instance.
That one, yeah, goes through.
That one
The
crosses.
short one, though, I think it's just in Merville's 80.
Right.
Yeah.
Some of those may never get repaired because landowners may just do them themselves, you know, save the expense, do what they want, the sizes that they want.
You guys are saying take the whole cost and split it over the whole Iowa side and not do east half, west half?
I say split it, you can do the whole cost now, and then after, if you want to, you can split it, because then you got kind of two systems. I don't know, that just sounds
Right.
fair, I don't know.
Well,
But like that
and you
short
could,
lateral, we
yeah,
ignore it, just tile around it.
Right.
you could accomplish that same thing with a construction schedule versus a maintenance one, which.
And to Kyle's point, that gets you, a construction schedule would get you value split under a modern lens, and you could play with the percentage that west gets versus what east gets.
And yeah,
there's-
for you guys, you may pay less on the acres on the west and more on the acres on the east.
I agree with him, I'd say leave it alone. Is the 30, 60, whatever the cost per acre that you already showed us, is that flat rated? Or is
No.
that?
No, it would be against the existing assessment schedule, however your benefit shook out 100 years ago. And I can't speak to exactly how that was done, but it gave traditionally it gave a lot of benefit to the wettest, lowest areas. Whereas the modern looks into how close to the facility you are, how much of the facility you're using, soil type and wetness is a factor, but it's only one of 5.
So the cost breaker you showed us is not
That's,
fixed, it is not flat rated either.
yeah,
Correct.
Per landowner, it's gonna,
It would be,
it's a
what,
representation, but it won't.
It
you
was
won't pay
flat
the-
rate.
Yeah, you won't pay the bill that way. It's just an average for,
What he showed was a flat rate,
yeah,
but that's not how it will be.
that's not how it
Correct.
works,
yeah.
The-
unless,
the ability to see your rate under the current schedule, if you went to the auditor's office, they could run that 750 against the existing schedule, that would spit out what your assessment under the current schedule would be.
Yeah.
The, under a modern lens, those that use more of the system and are closer to the system end up the highest benefit. That's kind of the opposition. So, those that need the most of the system, those that are the closest, your benefit would concentrate here, where and then it would generally decrease as you got down the system. Under the current schedule, it could be popcorned. Benefit could be popcorned across the whole district. I haven't looked at it for what it looks like. I just know that it's one for everything.
Financing wise, do we all have to agree as a group?
No.
How it's financed, or is that
No,
personal?
that is personal, independent,
Sure.
individual landowners.
You can pay it all at once, too.
Correct. No penalty for doing
And-
it.
yeah,
Right,
even-
right.
You
But
can,
it's not a group effort on,
yeah,
yeah,
and you
The
can sign, you
trustees
can
set
sign up
what the
for,
referral rate
sure, sure,
that you could participate in that's a group
right.
thing, but beyond that, it's your own personal financing.
and you could even sign up for waivers and pay it off in 2 years or 5 years or whatever. You
Some
can
do
pay
that.
early, even
They
if you
start
have
and then-
waivers.
Just pay it off sooner. And those warrants carry no guarantees of any length, so it's not like if I get a warrant, I'm expecting that it will mature in 10 years. It could get called immediately, and then it's just, I turn it back in and I get the face value and the accrued interest over that amount of time.
Yep.
So no, I think it's one of the better things the code has about the districts and the.
so I have an inexperienced question for you. So have you ever done 10-year ones?
Yes, we
Yes,
have.
And what's the perceived advantage of a 10-year versus a 20 if you could pay it off early?
So, a lot of it, the one we did recently was mostly out of, it was a 10-year because of the size and scope of it, and that was actually, a follow-up assessment to one of the major improvement projects that wasn't quite assessed enough recently, so the amount that was needed wasn't the end of the world. They already had the option to waive it before, so we wanted to give them a waiver option, but we didn't go to 20 years because 10 years had already been burnt up by now.
Alright.
And it just wasn't a monstrous new bill, so-
I see most, kind of a hard and fast rule, most repairs I see go with the 10, most improvements I see go with the 20.
and for
It's just kind of a generality.
Yeah, and that could be up to anyone's desires. If you want us to do 20, you could always pay it off in 10 too, so, I mean,
Tammy has some input.
I was just gonna say, for the warrant holders, 10 years is advantageous, cause they know they're gonna get their money in 10 years instead of 20.
So you may see a reflection in bid prices based on knowing, a contractor knowing he's apt to get that. If he doesn't sell his warrants.
Right, I'd say if somebody's concerned about getting they can get their money at any time.
they can get it
Right.
day one
Right.
if
Yeah.
you want it.
Yeah.
But you could get the 5%
Right,
sooner.
yes.
billing for this starts after completion?
There's,
Yeah.
Typically, assessments are done in May. If the project was completed by that time, like if the project was completed in May in 27, we could assess it as early as the fall of 27. I wouldn't see that being likely for this project. So my guess would be it would be a 28 assessment from where we sit right now.
but the contractor gets paid
Yeah.
typically monthly in installments,
Yeah.
and that interest starts accruing on those payments when they're issued.
Yeah.
Like for instance, I've been getting paid, and so you've got warrants that are accruing interest on them. Not to the same
Bolton and
extent.
Mink has been getting paid.
Right,
yeah.
Right, Tyler.
Right, yes.
So the point there is, even if you wanna pay it off immediately, there will probably be, most likely be some interest there.
Yeah.
Correct.
As soon as you get your assessment, if you pay it, then most likely it'd still be.
And there's interest when Jeff calls me for a tile to be fixed.
Yeah.
As soon as those bills get paid, there's interest accruing. It's just the cost of doing business, but yeah, that's the process, that's how it goes.
Well, assuming that Minnesota site's done the 1st of December, when would we be paying for that?
Next year.
That we could have as early as next assessment year. To some degree, it depends on the preference of the district or the board on how that assessment gets made. If you want it all in one lump sum, it would be potentially carried for another year. Or if you break it out separately, maybe we do that plus anything prior to that, or anything that's current in that April timeframe as we would normally look at stuff. It could be brought current at that point, but since we have an active ongoing project, if you wanted to include that in your ability to waive stuff, you'd be better off carrying it for another year and having it as one lump sum. So there is pros and cons both directions, but if you had, I don't, what was that, say 150,000 for the Minnesota project, if you got that plus some engineering or whatever, we could maybe assess 200 or 250, or you could assess more as a, knowing that we're building this other project, but then you also allow waivers for that, then does your parcel qualify for waivers, cause you have to have $500 per parcel to waive it. So there's multiple pieces of the puzzle that would throw that off. If you did a smaller assessment on the front end, you might not qualify for waivers, so then everybody just pays that right now. Whether that's desired or not desired, I guess, give us your thoughts between now and then. But, yeah, those are just some of the, I guess, fundamental considerations that I would share.
What gets voted on or what needs to happen next?
In all, I guess.
Nothing.
Nothing, we'll take action, I mean, we have to formally close the public hearing if everyone's questions are answered and the discussion is done. Then it's to proceed to final plans and bid letting and that sort of stuff. I mean, since it's a repair, we don't have to deal with remonstrance. I think everybody's kinda on the same page anyway, since we've been talking about this for a couple of years actively and a decade before that, but, yeah, I guess if you guys are comfortable with the conversation, got all your questions answered, we can keep rolling.
One question, what are we over the Minnesota side?
It would be
85%.
84.
84% of.
I wanna say it was shy of 150. When we were talking before.
I was there, but I don't remember.
Tyler's got it, I know we were talking about it earlier.
Just shy of 218.
Okay, that was over.
218
So the
times
Iowa side owes 85% of that number?
183.
And that's split over all the acres to whatever.
Correct. Yeah, so
Well,
that's,
that'd be pending whatever we do. If we leave it on the current schedule, yeah, it'd be split that way, or if we had a new construction schedule, it'd be split that way.
So that would be on top of the value that I displayed. We're just talking the Iowa portion.
So the 183 and some change, plus the 756. And if you divide that over 1,058.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That comes up to $887 an acre, if you split it down to the east side. If you
Yeah.
leave it at the 1,500, it would,
Probably be in at 600,
650
something.
probably.
it's 218, right?
Yeah.
Years.
650.
I don't think it'd take too long to pick that back up.
Yeah, after all the drownouts, yeah, it would take quick.
Okay, I was curious, I wasn't gonna ask, but does it drown out this year? I know you've had more rain.
Not yet.
Yeah.
There's water standing down there.
It's coming.
The corn's tall enough, it's above the water.
Yeah.
That doesn't always save you.
And
So it's about a crop once every 5 years, how's that sound?
Sounds like you wanna fix it,
Pretty
Yeah.
bad.
but it's not gonna, I mean, it's not gonna give you a 3/4 coefficient or anything. but-
It'll help a little bit, but getting more depth and not having to fix it every year is gonna be a huge positive change. So,
Yeah, it's kind of this compared to nothing is the,
I understand.
yeah.
Anybody have anything else? I don't wanna cut anybody off, we don't wanna cut anybody
And
off,
I mean, if you got any other thoughts or questions, obviously reach out.
please.
Anyone on the board or Tyler or whatever, so. Thank you guys all know where to find us. I would move to close our public hearing.
I'll second,
Second,
take Amber, that's fine,
Okay.
thank you, Amber.
Yep.
Any discussion, all in favor of closing the public hearing?
Roll call.
Roll call, excuse me, I'm sorry,
Garmin,
yes.
Stecker,
Yes.
Haas,
yes. Thank you.
Alright. Then Tyler, for direction, you need us to,
Can you guys please sign in the sign-in sheet? Please, thank you.
yeah, it would be,
it's on the motion's on the thing.
Discussion decision to
yeah,
approve the
but
repair
I mean, we
recommendation as
didn't really
modified.
modify anything.
right, no, just as the repair project as presented
As presented,
and, to direct to proceed towards final plans and specifications pursuant to a bid letting.
yeah, I would make that motion to approve the repair as presented and, direct the engineer to prepare final plans and specs and proceed to bid letting.
I'll second.
Yeah, kind of varied, I guess. Can I call you right back?
Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote,
Garmin,
Yes.
Stecker,
Yes.
Haas,
yes.
Alright, thank you.
Alright,
thanks, Dan.
motion to adjourn.
I'll second. All in favor of adjournment? Roll call vote,
Garmin,
Yes.
Stecker,
Oh, tough decision. Maybe. Yes.
Haas.
yes.
Okay.
Even with somebody like contact, you